Hello, welcome to Your Property Pod Blast. This is going to be a new thing, a Pod Blast. It's going to be a mini podcast that we are just an idea, rather than having kind of some of the longer ones which go on for an hour or so. We thought we'd get started on some Pod Blasts. So here's our first one, and it's with Paul Stapleton. And we're going to be talking about the Property and Entrepreneur Summit. Very exciting. So, it's nearly 400 of you who came on the day. So huge thanks to everyone who came on the day. We're going to be talking about the event and what happened and what we're going to do for the next one. Just a bit of a fun pod blast for you today. So Paul Stapleton's with me. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Michelle.
It's good to see you again. It was only a couple of days ago we saw in person, so we thought we'd jump on while it was all fresh and have a little chat about the day and how it went. So, yeah. How did you find it, Paul?
Stressful, amazing. Stressful again, incredible. Stressful again, outstanding. I think it was one of those emotional roller coasters that you would only expect with such a big event and your first event as well. But overall, I think it was just an incredible day, an incredible experience. And the feedback has just been positively insane, hasn't it?
It really has, yeah. And, for people who don't know, this has been our first event together, and from YPN's point of view, the first YPN event that's we brought to our community. But Paul and I, we've both brought with hosted events, organised events, but not quite on this scale. Is this the biggest one you've done? Have you done any with more people?
Yeah, I think 250 is the biggest that I've done. So yeah, this was a big one, and also the first all-day event as well that I've done.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of an experiment to see kind of what it would be like. Obviously, we had our idea of what we wanted it to be. I think it absolutely blew that out of the park. We were so delighted, weren't we, with just like how well it went and just the vibe. I think the vibe was the main thing for me. Everyone seemed to have like a really good energy about them, and just everyone was having fun. I think that's the main thing. I know I was having fun. Obviously, there were points in between, as organisers, we've got our eye on the ball of what, the tech issues here and there. But I think for most people, that kind of went unnoticed, apart from the odd clicker that went wrong.
Yeah. We'll put that down to user error anyway. I think a lot of people were pointing it at the screen rather than where the sensor was at the back of the room as well. But yeah. Just very, very minor things that we probably notice as the organisers, and it wouldn't even be on someone's radar that was there to just maximise the day and opportunity for networking and learning.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, let's look into why we organised it. What was the goal of the event, and did we achieve it? I think, from my point of view, it's have fun was a great one, and to really bring two communities together, the property world and the entrepreneurship world. Some of the speakers before you introduced them to me, I hadn't come across before. So, and probably some of the property speakers you hadn't come across before as well. So it was actually a great mix. I think that was some of the feedback that we got. It was a good mix of two different communities coming together in the same space. So yeah. What about you, Paul? Why did you want to do this event?
So I network as much as you do. I speak at as many events as you do, and I definitely think there's lots of property events. But I feel that's all that's ever taught at these events is property, and I feel like there's a massive gap in the other bits that you need within a property business for it to be successful. So understanding business, understanding how you generate leads, the importance of social media to get you out there so people know who you are, what you do, and how they can work with you. So for me, having that kind of two-part day was what I felt our niche was going to be, hence the name, the Property and Entrepreneur Summit. So I think we met the brief, and I would like to think a lot of people got more value on the second half than just the first half, because it was so different to what they're used to going to and attending, meeting people that they wouldn't ordinarily see at a property event. So you wouldn't usually see Daniel Priestley at a property event. I think this may even be his first property event. So I just wanted an experience, as I know you did, where people learn more than just a bit of property knowledge at an event and then were upsold at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really refreshing. I think a lot of people found that they had their minds open to actually, like you say, working on the business rather than like just in the business, like property and tenants and tax and all of that stuff. Bringing a different element to it as well of like social media. I mean, that's just one thing that a lot of people know they should be doing, but they just don't really understand how important it is, and they just have like some resistance to it, right? So I know
It's
you're
doing it and
there.
doing it right as well, isn't there? I think a lot
Yeah,
of people post religiously thinking they're doing the right thing because they're consistent, but they're consistently posting the wrong thing. So I think having that element, which was how to create a good post, the hook, the content, having props, having a call to action and stuff like that. For some people, it may have actually been the first time that they've ever heard some of those words and those concepts.
yeah, I agree completely. And yeah, what were the other highlights for you?
Well, food. I think the food was
Food was so good.
fantastic. Yeah, the food was great. And I think you and I both wanted that to be an integral part of it as well. Not your standard Tesco meal deal, but something that people would have as a talking point as well. I think good food always makes it an event. So that was great. But I just think the networking, I think there was so much networking going on. Somebody even came out and said we were so shocked. I think it was actually one of the food vendors. They were surprised that people were networking in the rain whilst queuing up for their food. And she said it was just incredible. She's never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I think I remember just being around a group, and it was some of the YPN members actually, and from our training, and one of them's like, "Oh, it's John, it's you. I've only seen you on Zoom before, and like now we're here in person." I think that kind of vibe of people recognizing each other
Mm.
and looking out for people. And I'm in too many WhatsApp groups, and it's like, oh, is so and so going to be there today? Who's going to be there? And everyone's like meeting up. We've got the YPN group members. We had the a few big groups actually, the Hard Hats to Heels as well. I think they were our biggest group of people from the event. And there's a lot of buzz in the WhatsApp group after that for them. But yeah, they were up on stage having a group photo. So for those people who are only either used to seeing them, seeing each other in online or just in the comfort of their own usual networking group, to actually go to a bigger event and reconnect was a big part of this event. That tribe, like finding other people who actually you already know, already in your community, and meeting them in person either for the first time or again. So yeah.
I know that I had probably about 30 people from my mentoring group, and what was really nice to see was actually the night before the event that they were all meeting up for the first time. So like you said, they're used to speaking with each other in the group and being on Zoom calls, but that first interaction of them already kind of feeling like you know each other. You've been speaking for the last few months and meeting up and just forging like a really nice relationship. That was quite nice as well to see even before the event.
Yeah, and even in the Facebook group. So if anyone wants to be in the Facebook group, literally just search Property and Entrepreneur Summit. We had people before the event just connecting, introduce themselves, and during the event as well. You don't really get that actually with most networking events where you've got people connecting before, because I think, I was literally, something went wrong with the lock on one of my HMOs today. And I was like, I met a locksmith at an event 2 weeks ago, and I don't know what I've done with his card. I haven't got round to putting it in my phone. Well, there's no way for me to find out who that person is now, because I'm not in a WhatsApp group with him or anything like that. So just call a normal locksmith. But my point is, like, actually the value of having a community where people connect before, during, and after is great. So if anyone's obviously interested in joining the next event with us, get yourself in the Facebook group, introduce yourself, because you're putting yourself with like-minded people who are willing to go out there and and meet other people. Like,
Yeah.
they're the people you want to meet, right? People who want to meet you.
Pre-networking, I think they call it. And I think what was really nice is in the stories, people sharing these mini road trips that they were going on. And I think some of those were probably forged from the Facebook group of people realizing we live in similar areas, or maybe knowing that you live in an area that somebody else lives in, but you didn't know they were attending. And then understanding that they're going as well, all of a sudden it becomes, as I said, that mini road trip. And that looked quite cool as well, like people having fun before the event and a good build up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what did you think of the any comments about the speakers? Because I know we had the lineup of speakers, absolutely phenomenal. We are over the moon with the speakers who we got on: Rob Moore, Daniel Priestley. It's John Howard. That lineup is incredible. I know Rob Moore isn't everyone's cup of tea. He certainly woke everyone up after their lunch break, though, didn't he?
He did, and I think people probably don't appreciate the thought as well that actually goes into working out the lineup. It's not like a random thing that we say, right, we've got these 8 speakers, let's just work out where they all fit. There is a huge kind of methodology in understanding who goes after lunch. Lunch is harder than being the first speaker, because everybody's had a big lunch, especially at ours as well. They were big, heavy lunches, right? So everyone's feeling a bit fatigued, and you need that person who's going to be able to give them a slap and wake them up and have that high energy and make them laugh. So Rob was that perfect choice to also bring people back to their seats as well. As you know, trying to get people back to seats when they're having conversations with people that they've only ever dreamt of having conversations with. I know there was one conversation that I had to interrupt maybe 2 or 3 times. And I think it might have been with Saj Hussein. This guy just was intent of not letting go of him. Like, he'd waited all his life to be in a room with him and have him. And no matter how many times I tried to kind of prise them apart, this guy's conversation was not ending. So having that speaker that is that magnet to pull people back to the stage and to their seats after lunch is really important. Also having that speaker at the end for people to stay for the full duration of the day is important. Having a great speaker at the start is really important. So yeah, having a good mix is really good, but it's very difficult to work out that format so that it kind of ticks all the boxes. But I'll be honest, until I see these recordings, I wasn't able to hear any of the speakers, because as the organisers, we are just logistics, right? We're ensuring the next speaker is ready to go on. We're sorting out something else. Maybe we were sorting out the VIP room ahead of lunchtime. After lunchtime had finished, I know I was out just making sure everything went well with the food vendors and just doing everything there. So our events that we put on are the events that I would love to attend.
Yeah.
And really enjoy. So I'm really looking forward to getting the recordings soon and actually being able to sit in the comfort of my home, no distractions, and just consume all of that really, really good information that I know everybody else at the event got.
Yeah, same. I'm really looking forward to the recording as well. As you, I was in and out, and I kept catching glimpses of some really key things, and even like the Daniel Priestley session. Now, I've, as you know, read all of his books. We've actually done his training, so I've been on his program for a year, the Dent program, and so I am very familiar with his work. But actually seeing him in person and hearing him speak, it kind of brings what you read in the book to life, right? And it goes in on another level. And even something really simple, I can't even remember what it was now, something really simple he said. I was like, oh God, yeah, like the penny just dropped another level. I've listened to it, I've watched him and I've heard him speak so many times. So it just goes to show you that even if you have heard speakers, or if you've heard topics before, actually being in the room and certainly with the speaker themselves, it's it just goes on another level. Everyone seemed captivated by his talk. So many nuggets. I think I saw a Facebook post. It's like, so many nuggets. Feel like I've been to McDonald's and got my chicken nuggets box of 20 in one go or something.
but that's the thing as well. It's my experience is taking, like, if we look at that stage, most of these people are educators. Most of these people host their own events, and when they host their own events, it's a business, and they are always selling something there. And there is that pressure that when it's your event and you have the responsibility of selling a product for the event to make money, it kind of takes it away from the real value that you have to give to the people attending. So there's something about taking those people who have huge amounts of knowledge out of their own environment and putting them in an environment that's relaxed, where they don't have that pressure of selling anything, but they can just talk on a level and they can just conversate with people. You get so much more value than you actually pay for when you go to see them at their own events. And that's been my experience in everything that I've done with events. So any speaker that I've ever had, when I've gone to their events, I get a snippet. When they speak at my event, we get everything. And I think that's really special. And I think a lot of people would have seen these speakers in a completely different light that day in comparison to people that maybe are avid progressive educators, or maybe they go to SAG's events, whatever it is. Just seeing them outside is another element.
Yeah, well, we certainly got a lot of love on the socials, haven't we? I mean,
Yeah.
I am still, my inbox this morning, I was like, oh my God, this is like incredible. I'm like working my way through WhatsApps and posts and tags and all sorts. Like I'm sure you are as well. It's like really grateful. Thank you for tagging us in all of the posts. It's a little bit overwhelming, to be honest. There's so many across every portal, right? Someone does a post and then it's like each social media platform that they're tagging us in. So it's absolutely incredible. Be very overwhelmed by the positivity, lots of love coming through, and it just feels like a great community to be part of, and really, just really grateful for everyone's positive feedback. Completely unexpected. We were not expecting this level of interest, and I'm sure you feel the same, Paul.
Oh no, I knew it would be popular.
I knew it would be popular. I thought it'd be, hey, with this lineup and us running the show, it was always going to be a fun event. But just the amount of people saying how much value they got for it, people sharing the goodie bags and the VIP sessions and the food and photos with everyone. It just seems like everyone had a great time. So.
I don't think we knew we had capacity for 400, but I don't think 400 was ever kind of the target for us. I think we were aiming at sort of 300. We'd be really happy. And I think for a long time we were sitting around the 120 mark, and we were thinking, have we bitten off more than we can chew? And then it was just kind of out of nowhere, wasn't it? It was just started accelerating, and then that final week, in 1 week, to sell 120 tickets.
Yeah.
And they were coming in throughout the night. I think we were setting up, weren't we? And the phones were just going off. There were just more and more last minute tickets. And then to wake up Saturday morning that the final ticket had been purchased at 5 a.m. was just, I think that was the icing on the cake before we started, that we've got an incredible lineup. We've got a sold out event. The fact that we can actually post now that it's a sold out event was such a great feeling. So I don't think there was anything that would have disheartened us at the event. And we'd obviously been through a lot to get to the event as well. It's, as we know, it's been a roller coaster ride of emotions and getting things done logistically, but we got there, and it was just an incredible day.
Yeah, well, Paul, I just, want to say thanks for joining us today, and, thanks for just taking some time out to have a quick chat about this, because I think it was important for us to just share, like our experience and say thank you to everyone. Thank you to our community. Thank you to the new people who we didn't know before who came to the event as well. And, there's people from your communities who I met for the first time and vice versa. So like, we just want to jump on and say thank you guys for, coming, being part of our community and being part of our tribe. And just to let everyone know, like, we've had such an overwhelming response that we are looking to do another one if there is enough demand there. So we've got the Daniel Priestley model. We've got the the opportunity for people to register interest and say, hey, I'm interested in the next one. Let me know when you've got some more information about it. So we've got a link in the notes there. So just click the link if you want to find out more about the next event and when we're going to host it and when it's going to be on. So yeah, any final thoughts from you, Paul, about just to say thank you to
I think watch this space. Something exciting is brewing, and I think we're going to ride off of the enthusiasm of the last event to look at improving the next one if that is possible, having an incredible speaker lineup, and like you said, trying to have people that maybe they haven't heard of before, and because you haven't heard of them doesn't always mean they're not big or they're not good, but for us it's all about the value that they bring, and if we see a speaker that we think maybe is a bit unknown but they bring a huge amount of value, that's what it's about for us. It's about bringing maximum value to the attendees, whether that's speakers on stage, whether it's the goodie bags, the freebies, the competitions we run, some incredible food, drink, whatever it is. The event is built around pure value, knowledge, networking, and just maximizing what people get for their ticket, just return on their time and money spent.
Absolutely. Well, guys, if you've got any feedback for us, let us know what you loved, what you'd like to see next time, and then let us know. We're going to create like a little feedback form so people can share with us what they want to see, or perhaps any speakers you want to see next time, any topics, anything like that. Just get in touch and let us know. So great. We'll watch this space. We've got all the photos, all the videos coming out soon as well. And I'll be doing more podcasts, and we're going to be inviting people who were speaking on stage to come and do a podcast with us. So you get, if you missed out on the day, then you can get a little snippet on a podcast interview. So look out for those too. And yeah.
And if you did miss out, buy the recording.
By the recording, see what the day was actually like. Amazing. Yeah, of course. So we'll put the links to that in the show notes as well. So that's it. Thanks for joining us today, guys. And thanks, Paul, for coming on.
Yeah.